Hello. Hello, my name is Marie Schamboeck and I'm an architect and writer. Unfortunately, I cannot be with you in Athens tonight, but hopefully I can come by soon. In the meantime, I will greet you in this way and try to add another angle to the topic and question of who owns the land. So some of you might know the musical theater, The Rise and Fall of the City of Mahagonni, based on a text by Bertolt Brecht. My project plays with this fictitious city of Mahagonni, but reworks the title a little bit. Suddenly, there is a buoyancy and a spin. But what spin? My project does not go with rise or fall, but with what I perceived as a spin or a tendency, a certain way of doing urban projects that go by a drive that is seemingly a strongly economic or entrepreneurial one. So my project identifies a field of tension spanning in between the city and trade, architecture and its market. It goes with the hypothesis that the contemporary city is less a place of trade, but it or its elements become an object that turns into a good, a very promising one. Part of the reason is that land is unique. It is not multipliable. You cannot produce more land to live on, even if you need to or desire so. Thinking about this in terms of economy, land is a limited good. The pricing of a limited good is very interesting, as it is of course based on demand, but since the good cannot be reproduced, the rise of its price seems even more natural. So the project consists of two parts. Part 1 is the research and is giving a general introduction and investigating setups in a series of focused case studies. For example, on public-private partnerships or business improvement districts, or even more thoroughly, the entrepreneurial city. So this all leads to the question, is the city an asset? Is it a good? If how, and why? But since this now might feel a bit less relatable, I will focus on part 2 of the project, where the topic of politics of land and the relationship between the city and trade is translated into a poetic work. So we will think about how to translate this topic without frustration and how to approach it from an artistic side. So what I did is to move this research into the form of a libretto or simply a play. I will now briefly show you the structure and the plot of the scenes. But first I'll introduce you to the characters. So the two sides of this investigation turned into the two main characters. There is Marceau, the merchant, and there is Sandeau, the mother of cities. What I will show you next is the structure of the acts and scenes, and the, so to say, written scenography they live in. Prologue. Sandeau, the mother of cities, robed in public authority, alone on a hill, overlooking bundles of lights, discontent. She is longing for something new, for developments, for moving forward in an unprecedented partnership. She sings about her situation, her plans. Act 1. Sandeau meets Marceau. Marceau is of a different nature, a private sector player, goal-oriented, young. The two begin their journey together, roaming uncharted territory, meeting the three knights in shining armor, ending in a festive hall where Marceau is surrounded and courted by bidders, city mayors. Sperber observes everything. Second act. Years later. On a high rooftop in one of Sandeau's many cities, tightly bound, shining in a firm embrace with Marceau. Sandeau and Marceau look down. Sandeau is irritated. In one quarter, there is a lack of people, sugar-coated houseskins there, and the other scurrying, dusting, limping. Sandeau realizes that co-creation is not what she wants. She wants to go back. She picks a quarrel with Marceau, who enjoys his position, chest swelling. Act 3. Sandeau is long gone. Marceau is alone. He no longer needs her. He manages, controls, surveys, his positions, his realm. Sperber closes the act and the opera. Nothing is decided, nothing is lost, but what is gained? As a last point, we can now briefly take a more thorough look into one of the scenes, and to what topics from the research part the scene relates to. I will play for you the recording of it, spoken by the actor Lukas Darnstedt.
Die beiden Wachen. Gut getroffen. Nun zusammen, zweifelsohne Großes vor. In Bälde schon auf Vielgestalt der Böten und mit neuen Gütern wohl bestückt und sich beraten. Klingelbeutlich nimmermehr. Aufgeschoben manche Zahlen, aufgestellt am nächsten Tag. Schneller Straßen, noble Hallen, Einzelnes wird bald zu mehr. Raum der Wohner, sanftes Müssen, stetisch Wunsch treibt Preise hoch, dorthin, wo kein Stadtatom der Aussicht Genuss sich öffnen kann, leben hier die Zahlen schläfrig, wartend, wachsend an. Viele sind's schon, Orte, Städte, Einzelnes. Die beiden rauschend, Sandeau schon zu lahm, Ermattung, Rückzug ab und an. Stadtgeschäfte laufen weiter, in Zeiten, Sphären, Klassen dann, doch Glanz und Wuchern immerfort. Ein Abend ist's an steilem Ort.
So, I hope this brief insight added an interesting additional aspect. I wish you a great evening. All the best.